When it comes to musical legends, we always think of Sir Paul McCartney. He is a true world legend, a British musician, multi instrumentalist, author, and producer, and one of the Beatles' founders. After the collapse of the band, he began a solo career and founded the group Wings, which reached the pinnacle of success in the 70s. This man has won a Grammy Award 16 times, so Paul McCartney has been included in the Guinness Book of Records many times, in particular as the most successful contemporary composer. His 60 discs have received gold status. The total circulation of singles exceeds 100 million, and the song Yesterday holds the lead in the number of recorded covers. Paul's net worth is estimated at $1.2 billion, making him one of the most successful musicians ever. It's no surprise that he has amassed an impressive real estate portfolio, including homes all over the world. So, where did Paul McCartney live at different times? The childhood years of the great musician, Sir McCartney, told reporters that his family moved frequently during childhood, and the first house he remembers living in was at 72 Western Avenue in the area of Liverpool, England. At the time of moving here, he was 4 years old. They lived in the three-bedroom house for 6 years. In 2013, a die-hard Beatles fan purchased the property at auction, paying more than $600,000 for it, far more than other similar buildings in the area. Another of Paul's legendary childhood homes is located at 20 Forthland Road, often referred to as the birthplace of the Beatles, as it was here that the band members wrote and recorded their first songs. The family moved here in 1955 when Paul was in high school and lived here until 1964. The building has been owned by the National Trust since 1995 and is available for tours. It is a classic example of post-war terrace council housing. Paul's childhood home is smaller than the property where Lennon spent his youth. Money was tight in the McCartney family. After the tragic death of his mother, Paul and his brother Mike were raised by their father. Looking here today, you will see that the wallpaper was hung carelessly, the house is in disarray, and the furniture is shabby. Everything was the same when the McCartney family lived here. Unlike Lennon's childhood home, Mendips in Liverpool, 20 Forthland Road has yet to receive an English Heritage Blue plaque and is not eligible for one. English Heritage only issues such plaques after a famous person has died 20 years ago or 100 years after birth. Sussex Farm. Paul bought Blossomwood Farm in Peasmarsh, East Sussex, in 1973 to raise his 5 children, and has called it home for over 50 years. The musician then paid just over $2 million for the Grade 2 listed house, although it is now valued at $13 million. It is one of 2 farms owned by the musician and his late wife, Linda. The second is located in the Mull of Kintyre in Scotland. Paul McCartney chose the small village of Peasmarsh as his permanent home because he could enjoy the space and privacy of the 60-acre property. The famous musician grows many crops on his farm, including wheat, rye, and peas. He also has a spruce tree on his estate, which was given to the bassist by George Harrison shortly before he died in 2001. And, in an interview, Paul says he believes George's spirit lives on in the village. Paul McCartney and Courtney Love's mansion. For many decades, the great musician was interested in social life, so McCartney and his late wife, Linda Louise McCartney, bought the Hollywood Hills home of rock singer and actress Courtney Love in 2001, worth $4 million. The French country-themed property sits on nearly 2 acres. According to the Los Angeles Times, the family bought it only because Paul was tired of constantly staying in hotel rooms when he came to Los Angeles. This house has its history. Its first owner was Hollywood actress Ellen DeGeneres, but in 1997 it came into the possession of Courtney Love. A few years later, the singer decided to sell it because she moved to live in New York. Built in 1938 and recently renovated, it has a long gated driveway and stone walls. The French Regency-style mansion sits on 425 acres and includes a 16,400 square feet main house and 2 guest buildings, each over 5,000 square feet. One building has 2 bedrooms and a large cinema room. The other has 5 bedrooms for staff and an office. The grounds include a gatehouse, many old trees, a tennis court, and a swimming pool. Penthouse in Manhattan, one of Sir Paul McCartney's most expensive acquisitions, is the triplex penthouse he bought in 2015 for $15.5 million in Manhattan with his third wife, Nancy Shevell, a luxurious 3-story penthouse located near Central Park on Fifth Avenue's famous Museum Mile. It has 4 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms. The house has a glass facade with 10 rooms and a 1960s feel. The building features luxurious marble floors, walls of mirrors, double-height ceilings, and a floating marble staircase that adorns the hall and gallery. The living room features 30-foot wide floor-to-ceiling windows that offer lush views of the Central Park Reservoir, and a wraparound terrace that spans the 40-foot width of the structure. The property was put up for sale in early 2022. In 2023, Paul McCartney announced that he sold it at a loss for $8.5 million. Paul McCartney's modest home in East Hampton. It is not entirely known what prompted Paul McCartney to purchase a modest property in the village of Amagansett in the city of East Hampton for $495,000, but they say that Paul's wife Linda, who died in 1998, liked this property. According to Good City Living, McCartney purchased the estate and 22 acres of surrounding land. After Linda's death, Paul tried to find new love, and 4 years later, he married Heather Mills. At the request of his new wife, who did not want to live in the same house where Paul had previously lived with Linda, McCartney purchased another mansion on a small cul-de-sac not far from his former home. The 2,300 square foot contemporary home features a cozy kitchen, 3 bedrooms, an entertainment center with a wine cellar, and a pool. The house was listed for $1.7 million in 2015. After McCartney and Mills's marriage ended in divorce in 2008, in 1965, Paul McCartney bought a house in London in St. John's Wood, which he still owns. The property next door was recently put on the market for $16.5 million, suggesting the house's value today is much higher. Paul has many fond memories of this mansion where he hosted his wedding reception to Nancy Shevell in 2011. The building is also steps away from the renowned Abbey Road studios. The geodesic dome in the back garden is an attractive decorative feature of the estate. This meditation dome contains a huge round bed. At its head is a copper plate on which it is written, "May all your stains be large ones," from Groucho Marx. Before and after recording songs at Abbey Road Studios, the Beatles often spent time in the music room on the top floor of the house, which houses a psychedelically painted piano. It was here that hits such as Hey Jude and Penny Lane were written. Other celebrity guests at the house include Andy Warhol and Mick Jagger. Rumor has it that Rihanna, who appears with Paul in Kanye West's track 4 or 5 Seconds, has been here and has rented a mansion nearby for $116,000 a week. Sir Paul McCartney's ranch in Arizona. Paul and his late wife Linda purchased the 151-acre ranch in Tucson, Arizona in 1979. The private farm, located south of Reddington Road near the Tanverde River, was completely renovated in the 1980s. This ranch became the ideal retreat for the musician and his family at the height of his fame, often spending time here during the summer and spring months. Linda died in this house at the age of 56 after a difficult battle with breast cancer. Her family decided to scatter the ashes at Blossomwood Farm, but the memory of the former Wings keyboardist still lives on. Former Wings guitarist Lawrence Juber told Closer in 2019 that John and Linda were soulmates. They connected with nature in every possible way as an antidote to fame and madness. He recalls that the life together of these creative individuals was in perfect balance. Each of Paul's homes holds a special place in his heart, as he wrote many of his songs in the quiet and comfort of his home. And we hope that Sir Paul McCartney will delight us for a long time with his creativity. After taking a look at Paul McCartney's houses, what are your thoughts? Is his home as spectacular as you thought it would be? If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and catch you in the upcoming video.